So let's go to the mini project for our variables lesson. So for our mini project, we are going to create a light switch where we are going to have multiple switches and it is going to light up a sprite. So currently I have not done anything. So let's create our scene first. So let's call it lesson one project. Let's open the scene. Let's make the background black and let's create our scripts. So the first script is going to be the switch button and then we are going to have the light controller. So let's create our first script, which is the switch button, and then we are going to have our second script, which is the light controller. And as both of those scripts are created, let's go inside Visual Studio and we'll open both of the scripts. And let's close the rest of the scripts. And we are going to create the namespace lesson one project and it automatically put it there. So let's delete all the methods and we are going to create our own methods. So in the switch button, we are going to have an on click or the on mouse down and we'll check if our switch is on. And we are also going to need a reference to a light controller to check if all our switches are on, and our private boolean to check if it is on, and void on mouse down if it is not on. We are going to flip the switch and if it is on, then we are going to tell the light controller to turn it on or off. And we'll also use the debug log. So debug log switch button clicked is on, and we also need. Do we need an index? Uh, Switch button clicked. Debug.log name of name plus switch button clicked, and here we are just going to tell light controller dot check all switches. So that method will need to create in our light controller. So let's go to the light controller. Again, we'll create the namespace, which is going to be the lesson.projects or the project. And after that, let's see what we are going to need first. So let's create our serialized field private sprite renderer. So this is going to be the light, and just call it light sprite. And after that, we are going to have sprite for the light on sprite and the light off sprite. So we can know which one is on. And our public boolean, if switch one is on, switch two and switch three. And inside our start, if our light sprite is equals to null, then we need to assign it, or we can directly get it. and we are going to turn. And at the start, it is going to be turned off. So our light off sprite. And after that, we need to create our call switches. So if every switch is turned on, then we are going to set the sprite to light on or light off. And hmm, light turned off, light turned back, switch states with private variable. Okay, okay. Switch 1 on, switch 2 on, switch 3 on. So there is an error in the lesson. Private go, public go. Check all switches. So it is not connected. Okay, so I was following the lesson from the text. So there was an error. This both of them were not connected. And private bool is on. Instead of private, it needs to be public. And let's create public bool is on. And here, instead of our public bool, we are going to have a serialized field private switch button, and our switch 1, and then we are going to have switch 2 and the switch 3. And instead of checking if all of them are on, we are going to reference to the switches, and then we are going to check. So that was the error in the lesson itself. So that's the problem with all the AI generated stuff. So it was good for understanding, but it was wrong when buying it. And turn on light. So when the check is done, we need to pass. I mean, it is not going to matter as we are directly connecting the switch buttons. So it is going to check if all three of the buttons are pressed or are they turned on. Let's go inside Unity and we need to test our switch buttons. So let's create our button 1. I'll use underscore. And first we are going to need a sprite renderer, and we'll attach a simple 9 slice sprite and we'll position it at -2, and for the y also -2. And we'll attach a simple hot color switch, green, blue. Let's just have a gray color. And to detect the click, we are going to need a box collider 2D, and it needs to be set to a trigger. And after that, we are going to need our switch button script here. Duplicate it 2 more times, and we'll position those correctly. So let's position them -2 to 2. So it is going to be positioning linearly them here. And let's create a light. And the light is again going to have a sprite renderer. And similarly, we'll add the circle sprite. So as you can see, this is the sprite, and we'll make it green. And currently, it is using the circle sprite. Okay, we are going to need 2 more sprites. Let's just make it red. Because, uh, more. So light sprite is here, and when it is turned on, it is going to be same, and if it is turned off, then it is going to be a circle. So let's add the circle. And for the switch 1 and switch 2 and switch 3, we are going to add it here. And let's see if it works. So currently it is a circle and a reference exception, object reference not set to. Yeah, we forgot to add the light controller here. So let's add the light controller and let's hit play. So not all switches are on. The switch 3 is turned on, switch 2 is turned on, and all of them are on. So as you see, it changed from a circle to a square. So that was the default project or the project for our first lesson, the 3 light switches. And in the next video, we are going to complete a couple of tasks.